Spring is here at last, and we're camping with our friends from CanvasCampers. Join me in the kitchen, and we're going to make homemade barbecue sauce that's great on chicken or pork or anything else. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. Now you see that we're not at home in our studio at LG Manor, but you've been here with me before. We're in our travel trailer in my little kitchen here. And this weekend, Phil and I are camping with our friends from our CanvasCampers group, and we're out at the state park, French Creek State Park in Pennsylvania for the annual Spring Opener Rally. Now, it's the first weekend in spring, but it's bitter cold outside. In fact, we even had a little bit of snow last night, but that's okay. I'm going to give everyone a little taste of summer today with a quick version of barbecued chicken. Now, the star of barbecued chicken, in this case especially, is my mother's barbecue sauce. This is a great, interesting recipe, and the basic sauce is great on its own, but I'll also tell you different ways that you can change it and add to it. But let's get started. It starts with just roughly chopping a couple of green peppers. Now, you don't have to be professional for this. This does not have to be perfect. You can leave them as chunky or as finely chopped as you like. I'm going to keep them pretty chunky because things are going to get cooked low and slow in this sauce, and they're just in there for flavor, really. So you've seen me do this before. Roughly chop it, scrape out the ribs, get as many seeds as you can. Rough chop. Couldn't be easier. Now, if you want it to be refined, you could dice this very, very small. If you were going to serve this table side, like as a dipping sauce, then you would want to cut these very, very small and then strain them out later. But we'll just leave them chunky for today. And it doesn't even matter if there's a couple of seeds. Won't hurt you. Won't change the flavor or anything. Okay, there's one. One more. So this sauce my mother made in the early days of her marriage, back in the 50s, when my dad was in the Navy during the Korean War, and they had 3 little kids. So what do kids like? Kids like tomato soup. So my mother learned to make a lot of things with tomato soup as a base, and this is one of them. And certainly on a serviceman's salary in those days, tomato soup was cheap and a guaranteed win with kids. Okay, last one is done. Now these are going to go right into our pot. Easy. Now here is how easy this recipe is. Everything else goes into the pot, and then we let it simmer for a couple hours. Next ingredient is Campbell's tomato soup. I have 3 cans. Just plain condensed tomato soup. The classic that's been around for probably 100 years or more. Now, I know I don't often use prepared foods and things like this, but this is one of the exceptions that I make. Okay. Next is some molasses. Now, I'm going to say I don't have my recipes and all of my measuring things here today, so I'm going to cook like my mother cooked. probably like your mother and your grandmother cooks, I'm just going to eyeball it. But this is probably about a half a cup or so of molasses. Now, of course, as always, I'll put the exact recipe up on the website when we air. We'll get that out of the way. Allspice, great flavor, and a couple of teaspoons of it. A healthy amount. Apple cider vinegar. This is going to add a tartness. It's going to cut through the sweetness of the molasses and the tomatoes. Now the molasses will give a richness, make it that dark barbecue sauce color, but it is a little sweet. So probably a half a cup or so. You can always add more if you like it tart, or less if you like it sweeter. And of course, some salt and pepper. All right, onto our stove. There we go. We're going to stir this to combine. We're going to bring it up to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer. And we're just going to let it simmer for an hour, hour and a half. Let all the flavors combine. We'll just stir it occasionally to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. All right, I've put a cover on this so it'll come up to a boil, and then we'll come back to this in about an hour and a half or so, see how it looks. All right, we're back. It's been about an hour, hour and a half or so, and I've just been stirring while this simmers once in a while, and it's looking pretty good. I'm going to have a quick taste, and at this point, when you taste it, this is where you can still adjust it if you want to make it sweeter or more tart, if it needs salt and pepper or whatever. Now be careful, this is of course very hot. That's wonderful. Just right amount of tartness. I'm getting the sweetness from the molasses too. So there's a nice balance, that yin and yang. So let's do some chicken now. I have some chicken thighs. You know I love my chicken thighs. And I've already mostly cooked these on the grill. So I'm going to spoon some of this over. And normally I would take this all out to the grill and I would do this all on the grill, but we're going to be eating later on tonight. So this is just the first little batch. So I'm going to put some sauce on these and then pop it into the oven for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes just to bake the sauce on, just enough to finish it off. And it's okay if you get the big pepper chunks on there. It's all about the flavor. You can be generous. You don't have to drown it, but don't be skimpy. You can use a brush if you like. I like to just kind of spoon it over. Now, what's great about this sauce is you can change the flavors. You can add garlic, you can add onions. Oftentimes I do add a couple of onions. You can add some jalapeños and make it spicy. You can change brown sugar instead of molasses and make it sweeter. Okay, into the oven. Just a warm oven, 350 or so. And then we'll let them go. And when we come back, we'll have our tasting. All right, we're back and we're ready to taste. Now I'm here with my friend Joe Brennan, whom we affectionately call the mayor of our group, Canvas Campers. So let's taste this chicken that we're going to have at the potluck dinner tonight. Now you see in the oven, it glazed perfectly. It's tender. Wow, is that good. That there is a taste of my childhood. And of course, a little wine. So Joe, what can you tell us about Canvas Campers?
So Canvas Campers is a group of friends and family who camp together. We camp once a month from March through November. We started in 2007, and it's a group of friends and family who have, or strangers that we've met on the internet who have become good friends together.
Mm-hmm. We've had quite the adventures. And you can find out more about Canvas Campers at their website, CanvasCampers.com. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Now, as always, we're going to put the recipes and all of that other information up in the description section on the site. And we want to hear from you. We want you to write in. Tell me, what would you serve this barbecue sauce on? I'll give you a hint. It's really good on ribs. And as always, ask us questions, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, guys, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yes, we always need more subscribers. Remember, guys, you can always find all of our episodes any old time you want at youtube.com/Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. See you next time, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Cheers.